Hello and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts, a Centers for Spiritual Living teaching center. I am Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson. I am the founder and the spiritual director. Now, as you are sitting there joining us, you may have questions, any number of questions, such as, who am I? How did I get here? Spiritually integrated arts means what exactly? What is a teaching center? Well, what is Centers for Spiritual Living? What is that? What does that even mean? Or New Thought, or religious science, or science of mind and spirit? You may have any number of questions about this specific community, about the parent organization, CSL, our philosophy, our teaching, our liberation theology. Any number of questions. Feel free to send an email. We look forward to connecting more and building our virtual community, our global community. And if you haven't connected yet on social media, feel free to do so. This is your invitation now. Also, did you know that all of our Sunday messages are archived on our YouTube channel? You can watch it anytime. Now, questions about anything, such as becoming a member. What does that mean? What does membership entail? And if you live somewhere far and already belong to a spiritual community, can you be a member of more than one? The simple answer is yes, you can. Just like you can shop at more than one grocery store, you can attend or be a member of more than one gym. We are building beloved community. So you can do both. You can be a member of both. You can be involved with both. That's what being in spiritual community means. So we welcome you. We invite you. We are so appreciative that you have found this community and that you have joined us today. We bless you. We love you. We welcome you. Live long and prosper. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of our Sunday message. Love you. Connect with you soon. Blessings. and welcome. Happy Mother's Day. We continue our conversation this month about going from good to great to grand. Last week we talked about our inner landscape and how our inner landscape affects our outer landscape, etc. Well, today we are talking about the role that our values play in that process. Today's title, The Value-Led Life. Is your life being led with your values as the forefront? What are your core values, and how do you live from them more fully, day by day, moment by moment? Today, we are going to explore this transformative journey, self-discovery, and what it means to be in alignment through this process of identifying, creating, awakening, whatever it is, choosing our values and then living from those life-affirming values in ways that shift and change our lives in life-affirming ways. So we begin by understanding that there are various areas in our lives that we focus our attention and energy on. We focus our attention and energy on family, maybe. We focus our attention and energy on work, maybe. We focus our attention and energy on something. We're always doing that, focusing our attention and energy on something. However, our invitation is to consciously direct that energy and focus towards whatever it is that is going to further promote, further enlarge, increase, expand, resonate with our values. This thing that we are calling our lives, we are creating this life by being in alignment with either who we are not or who we are. Who we've been told we are or who we really are. We're in alignment always. We're always in alignment. We can't be out of alignment. Question is, what are we in alignment with? I can be in alignment with racism, sexism, or I can be in alignment with equity, justice, harmony. I can be in alignment with anger and hatred, or I can be in alignment with peace and unity, cooperation. We're always in alignment. So once again, our invitation is we're creating life by being in alignment with what? Whatever that is. But the invitation is to be in alignment with the truth of our being. When we are in alignment with the truth of our being, when we align our entire mental equivalent, our thoughts, beliefs, etc., the ways we communicate, our emotions and our feelings and our actions, when we're in alignment with all of those in a way that we are now joining with our passions, our lives are now infused with our sense of purpose, our sense of bliss, our sense of joy, our sense of connectivity, our sense of satisfaction, contentment, enlightenment, whatever it is, we are now purposefully, consciously aligning the truth of our being with each of these areas, aspects, and elements to further promote going from good to great to grand. So by understanding and by clarifying and thereby aligning our thoughts, words, emotions, feelings, and deeds, our mental equivalent, from the space of what we truly value in a life affirming way, we're better able to steward, to navigate through the world from whatever foundation we had to a firmer foundation on truth, whereby we live in integrity and authenticity, transparency, and our divinity. And living a grand life requires this degree of black belt awareness and practice. So that's our invitation. Are we ready to RSVP? Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith offers us, as the alchemist of your own life, find a bit of frequency you want to experience. Pause. What is the frequency that you want to experience? What is the end result? What is the goal? As the alchemist of your life, start with the end in mind. What do I want to experience? Now place your attention, your focus, and your energy there. As it becomes your perception, as it becomes your focus, as it becomes what you are in alignment with, now live from there. Reverend Dr. Eric Butterworth offers us, there is a hidden genius in each person. Now, I could remix this and say it's not hidden. It's not really hidden. It's there. We may never have been taught it. We may choose to ignore it. We may suppress it. But nonetheless, he says, there is a hidden genius in each person, which we each give expression to through commitment, discipline, enthusiasm, and passion. So there's this genius, the truth of our being, that we express based upon what are we committed to? What are we continually practicing? Because that's our discipline. And much like alignment, we are always disciplined, meaning we are always practicing. If I am, for lack of a better word, we'll say lazy and apathetic, like I just couch potato, I just every day, all day, just TV, popcorn, chips, and bonbons, then that's my discipline. I am using my quote unquote, the same skills that I would wax on, wax off, block, Tai Chi, the same skills, the same energy that does this. I'm using that energy to invest in the couch potato, binge watching 78 hours of television in one day. That's discipline. Now, we often think of discipline as this life-affirming thing, and discipline me. Yeah, I get you. Yes. And yet, discipline simply means, where are you investing your time, talent, energy, etc.? What are you practicing? Where is your enthusiasm? Remembering that the etymology of enthusiasm is N-E-N, theos, T-H-E-O-S, to be in God, and passion. So how do you express these four things? How do you express commitment and conviction, discipline, enthusiasm, and passion. Breathe. So, what does your inner, quote unquote, inner genius look like? How does your inner genius show up? Now, often when we think of the word genius, very, very easily and quickly, what comes to mind? Einstein. We even have turned Einstein into some kind of insult or compliment where someone will say, he thinks he's such an Einstein. Don't be an Einstein now. Watch yourself. You right? Like we have used him as the icon for genius. And there are others. Stephen Hawking. There are others. We've got geniuses. But based upon what Butterworth is saying, we all have genius. Well, if we all have that which is, as Butterworth and others would say, Christ consciousness, and there's only one mind, and that mind is God, then the mind that Einstein operated in, through, as, and from is the same mind you live, move, and have your beingness in, as, and from. And that one mind is infinite genius. That one mind knows, quote unquote, all is all, has all, access to all, intelligence, wisdom, etc. So this idea of having an inner genius is the idea of embodying your genius, embodying your innate intelligence. And that does not mean trying to be like someone else's version of intelligence. We all have intelligence. We all have the wisdom that is God, the intelligence that is God, the talent that is God, this divine. We all have it. But fishes are not meant to climb trees. A fish has its own genius. A squirrel has its own genius. A turtle, its own genius. A cheetah, its own genius. An eagle, its own genius. An owl, its own genius. I, my own genius. You, your own genius. Because all of us are the individualized expressions of God. So genius is incarnating as you, as them, as me. Now the question is, are we living from that genius, or are we denying it? Now there are many people who they don't know that they're a genius. They don't know that they have genius. They don't know that they're an incarnation of God. Many people have no idea. They seek the guru outside of themselves, not realizing that it's right where they are. Now, that does not mean that we don't find a teacher and have a teacher, but it means when I'm in third grade and I have a third grade math teacher, when I reach a certain point of I know and understand third grade math, I move to a fourth grade math teacher, a college freshman math teacher, an algebra professor, a calculus professor, a quantum physics professor. Then I become a quantum physicist. Get where I'm going? When the pupil is ready, the teacher will appear, but the pupil is already a teacher, because we are already divine. So yes, we find teachers and ministers and practitioners and workshop facilitators that help us along this path of learning a language. And then it's a new professor, it's a new class, linguistics. And then we become an interpreter. We become fluent in the language. Now, that does not mean we will not still go take a class or a refresher or a master's class or whatever. Doesn't necessarily mean that, but it can. But the point is, whatever it is God is, we already are. Dr. Holmes said, and Nona Brooks both have said, and Dr. Holmes probably got it from her, whatever is true about God is true about you. God is infinite intelligence, therefore you are intelligent. God is infinite wisdom, therefore you are wise. God is infinite, then you are a genius. Now, how do you embody that and live? Not just as within, but as your genius. How does it show up in your life? Dr. Holmes says, releasing the weight of past limiting beliefs and judgments frees us to rise up in life-affirming faith, which is mental assertion elated to the plane of realization. Whatever past dogma, indoctrination, judgments, and criticisms that we may have had and held on to and believed and operated from, we have an opportunity to let it go, to no longer let it operate as the driving force in our lives. And when we let it go, we are able to more adequately, more effectively operate from life-affirming faith. And this life-affirming faith gives us the ability to assert, to declare this power, this truth of our being, because we are now operating from a place of, I know who and what I am. I realize who and what I am. And that's our invitation. But we have to be able to identify what are the limiting beliefs? What are the judgments? What are the criticisms? What are the things that weigh us down? What are the things that obscure our eyesight and insight from being able to realize who and what we truly are? Kind of things, kind of baggage are we still holding on to that we may not even realize we're holding on to it? Because it's a habit that we culturally teach and train one another to do. We teach and train one another to dim the light. We teach and train one another to keep the dogma of indoctrination going. It's the only way we're going to make the world go round. Toxic capitalism, make the world go round. The rat race, dog eat dog. We're conditioned to keep those modes and mental equivalents going and going and going and going. But the moment we pause and step back and look, and I mean really look at our lives and ask, is my life affording me the opportunity to live, move, and have my being in the best way possible in all areas of my life? Or are there areas where I feel stagnant? Are there areas where I feel stuck? Are there areas where I feel whatever the angst or unrealized potential or whatever that is? If we can identify that, if we are in our body, our heart, and our mind enough to identify that, then we have the first step to now backwards reverse engineer and say, what is that about? Writer's block. What's blocking you? Or whatever it is, creative block. What's blocking you? In all honesty, what is blocking you? Your attention and your focus are somewhere else other than writing, other than painting, other than creating. You're not blocked, you're just focused elsewhere. So, how do we reorient the focus, reorient where we are investing that energy so that we are investing it into our writing, our creating, our relationship, whatever it is that we now desire to have greater and greater, good, great, grand experiences of? Brene Brown says integrity is choosing courage over comfort. And once again, linguistic convenience, let's note that what she's referring to as comfort is the apathy that chooses, oh, no, 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 I'm comfortable, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, which is the kind of comfort that Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King referenced when he talked about the white moderates who they were comfortable. They didn't want to get involved in civil rights. They knew it was wrong for there to be Jim Crow and segregation and oppression. They knew, but their comfort made them more willing to look away. I'll pray for you. I will give my thoughts and prayers, but my comfort is most important. Once again, she says integrity is choosing courage, it's choosing equity, it's choosing justice, it's choosing the divine over apathy, comfort, and stagnation. Integrity, it's choosing what's right over what is simply fun or easy. It's choosing to practice your values rather than simply professing them. James Baldwin, if I'm not mistaken, said, I'm paraphrasing, what you do speaks far louder than what you say. I can't hear what you're saying because what you are doing is speaking so much louder than what you say. How many people do we know that they say that they are one thing, but their actions something else? Christian nationalists, for example, they profess to be followers of Jesus, the Christ. They profess to a lot of things, but their actions demonstrate something altogether different, which, based on what Brene Brown is saying, indicates that they are not operating in integrity. So, our invitation: ask, am I operating? Based on this definition of integrity that she is sharing, am I operating in integrity? Am I choosing what's right over what's fun, easy, and comfortable? Am I choosing courage? Am I choosing life-affirming faith rather than non-life-affirming faith? See, it's easy to keep our mouth shut rather than demand a ceasefire. And I'm not referencing any of the politics around and any, I'm simply saying ceasefire means let there be peace. Ceasefire means stop killing, stop blowing up. Ceasefire means, can we talk? Ceasefire means no more bombs, no more bullets, no more bodies. Ceasefire means let's build. Build what? Belonging? Beauty? Let's build. Let's become something greater than what war represents. See, it's easy to look the other way and say, well, that's their thing. It has nothing to do with me. I'm not transgender. I'm not gay. I'm not black. I'm not a woman. I'm not Muslim. I'm not an immigrant. I'm not an indigenous American. I'm not. It's easy to look somewhere else when others are suffering and hurting and in pain, when their rights are being threatened and removed. It's easy to close our eyes, fingers in ears, ignore. But what is right? But what is right? If we want a world that works for all, then it's time to do what's right. It's time to think what is right. It's time to say what is right. It's time to feel what is right. It's time to do what is right. And when do we do it? Right now. Dr. King said, the time is always right to do what is right. To be in integrity, to operate from our values. The time is always right. John C. Maxwell says, your core values are the deeply held beliefs that authentically describe your soul. Now, let's be clear. We all have values. We all value something. The couch potato values. I love sitting on the couch and watching television. There are values. I value doing nothing, or doing, because it's technically not nothing. I value the opportunity to sit on the couch and watch television 24 hours a day, eating chips and dip and bonbons. I value that. Why? Well, it keeps me from doing this other thing that makes me uncomfortable. So I value the distraction. Now, I may not know that that's what I'm doing, but if I go within and explore, if this is what I am demonstrating, it's based upon a mental equivalent. It's based upon a belief. It's based upon values, or I wouldn't do whatever this is. If I believe that television was of the devil, then I can't be a couch potato if I'm afraid of the devil, or I believe in the devil, or whatever the devil. Then I'm not going to watch television. That's why the Amish, they don't do a lot of the modern things that we have, and they don't do it because their faith, they value something other than. So we all have values, and values like freedom give us the opportunity to be free from something and be free to something. Our core values are very similar. But what are your core values? What are your deeply held beliefs that shape and shift and move and motivate how you show up? Now, core values as a general, and core values specifically, 1 through 21 core values held by several companies. Now, on 1, fun. Do you value fun? Do you value solitude? Do you value romance? If you do, then it should show up in your life in some way if you are operating in integrity. Anyone who knows me knows that I value fun and silliness and laughter. How could you not know if you know me? But you also know that I balance this. It has its time and place because I can go from one moment being very serious to being very silly and back again as it serves whatever it is I'm engaged in because I value those feelings and those actions. I value honesty, continuous improvement, kaizen, the Japanese concept of constant and never ending improvement. What are your core values? Go through this list, pause, come back to the video and pause and look at this, or email myself or Tracy and ask, can you send me the slide with the core values? And go through them and ask, do I value acceptance? What does it look like? What does it mean? Do I value achievement? What does that look like? What does it mean? Do I value beauty? What does that look like? What does that mean in my life? Do I value collaboration? What does that look like? How does it show up in my life? Because if you value these things, then they should show up. If we're living, moving, and having our beingness in integrity, that is. Gretchen Rubin says, focus not on doing less or doing more, but focus on doing what you value. If you focus on what you value, if you focus on investing time and energy, resources, etc., into what you value, then the doing more or less will automatically start to fall into place. When we are doing what we value, when we are being what we value, then the doing more or the doing less will automatically. If I value being in shape and I want to be healthy because I value my health and well-being, we'll say my physical health and well-being. Well, we'll put it all in. My mental health and well-being as well. I value it. Then what am I going to do to nurture and ensure physical health and well-being, mental health and well-being? Exercise. Do I value exercise? If I do, if I value this, in order for there to be the byproduct of greater physical health and well-being, greater mental health and well-being, then I'm going to automatically do more of exercise. I'm automatically going to do more of therapy or whatever it is that's going to bring the byproduct of health and well-being, body, mind, and soul, emotional health and well-being, mental health and well-being, because it's what I value. So the doing more or less will automatically take place, per se. I mean, it's just not magically going to happen, but it's easier to identify. And when we're engaged in exercise, I mean, clearly I'm doing more. I don't even have to say I need to do more exercise. I'm automatically doing it because it comes with the territory. If I value relationships, then I'm going to automatically reach out and call somebody I love. I'm going to automatically do it. Text or email, something, if I value the relationship. So rather than focusing the attention and whatnot and investing in do more, do less, do more, do less, do more, do less, focus on being in integrity with your core values. Now, as I always reference this idea of faith being life affirming or non life affirming, it can be either or. Similarly, values can have a life-affirming or a non-life-affirming component, such as, let's go with the very first one at the top, freedom. If it is a life-affirming expression of freedom, as this slide says, it will show up as build flexibility and autonomy into your life. If it's a non-life affirming expression of freedom, it will show up or can show up as fear of making important commitments. So once again, it's not simply about saying courage. It's about, is it a life affirming expression of courage? Belonging. Is it a life affirming expression of belonging? Achievement. Life affirming or non life affirming? So it's not just about choosing the value, but it's about what aspect of the value, how is the value showing up? Because I can say stability, but if my stability is showing up as being intolerant of change, I remember back in the day when those women couldn't vote, things were stable back then. I want to bring that stability back to, wait, what? If the stability is showing up, excuse me, if the stability is showing up in a non-life affirming way, stability is still the core value. Excuse me. But it's showing up in a non-life affirming way. See, that accent got to me. My body was revolting, saying, hey, stop doing this accent. I don't like what you're doing about this whole women in voting, but stop it, because we know you're lying. So, it made my eyes water. Normally I have a glass of water here. I would drink the water, but I didn't bring water today. So, same thing I said with the other slide. Feel free to come back and screen capture this or look it up on Google or whatnot, or email me or Tracy and ask to be sent this, because it gives us the opportunity to have greater clarity on what is my value, and am I expressing it in a life affirming or non-life affirming manner. Now, these core values are the core values. If you've ever been to our SIA website, then you know that we have somewhat adopted the Hizmet principles and core values, and these are them. So this is a great opportunity once again to, go and look and ask, well, what do we as an organization value? The freedoms as expressed in the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Are you familiar with the Declaration of Human Rights? Now, there are times when even the United Nations isn't honoring, but the goal, the vision is to do so. And the practice is moment by moment living into the practice of, living into the integrity of and the expression of. That's the practice. But if we don't even know what our values are, or we're denying what the values are, then what exactly are we doing? Well, we're not living in integrity, for one, not integrity with what we're saying. We're living in integrity with something else. Those who claim that the United States of America was built on Christian nationalist values. No, it wasn't. So either you are ignorant and don't know, or you blatantly are ignoring the fact of one or the other. So our invitation. How well do I know myself to know what I am operating from as my values, life affirming or non life affirming. The Science of Mind textbook and the teaching itself are meant to be a living document. This is why we are encouraged to be open at the top and open at the bottom. We are called to be the space and the energy of the cosmic goodness, greatness, grandness. The space and energy of the infinite, global, measureless, inclusive, universal wonderment of life. We are called to be that. This call is also found in how we push the boundaries of the status quo. That would rather we accept and not ask, receive and not seek, and follow the rules even when those rules are inhumane, unethical, and life denying. The call, this cosmic goodness, greatness, grandness, live it, move it, be it always and in all ways. Be this living document, live as this living document, move as this living document of science of mind and spirit, always and in all ways. This week's declaration or affirmation, I will say it first. If it resonates, say it the second go round. I live from my values in ways that enhance my life and the world around me. Together. I live from my values in ways that enhance my life and the world around me. Ashe. This week's questions for your own personal exploration, or if you join the Thursday night study group. Number one, identify 4 of your top values and how they relate. How are they related to the various aspects, various areas of your life? So, if, for example, if you value laughter, how is laughter connected to various areas of your life? Relationship, physical health, mental health, emotional health, etc. How are those 4 values, those top 4, related? Number 2, in looking at your values, identify where and how your life might be aligned in a non-life affirming demonstration of your values. What are some areas where you are not living from your values like you think you are or say you are? And what are some specific values you are not living from that you would like to be living from? Number 3, how did you develop your current values? And how do your values inform your current activities in the world? And then lastly, over the time, over your life, how have your values changed or evolved, shifted, etc., as you have discovered more about, learned more about yourself? Breathe. And we enter into that space of prayer, that space of knowing the truth of our being. And this truth begins with the awareness that God is all there is, the infinite and allness, the universe itself, the single power, single life, single mind, called by many names: Spirit, Source, God, universal consciousness. Whatever we call it matters far less than recognizing the truth of what it is and the truth of what it is as us. So as I speak this, I am knowing that this infinite power and presence that I value the awareness of, that I value the embodiment of, is the truth of all that is. And it being the truth of all there is means I value truth. I value the absolute. I value all that it represents. Wisdom, I value that. I embody that. Compassion, I value that. I embody that. Communication that is clear and compassionate, I value that and I embody that. And as I embody it and live, move, and am in integrity with what I value, then it shows up and is expressed in, through, and as my life. And I know that this is the process by which all of us are engaged in. Everybody watching now, everybody watching the recording later, which is now for them. Whatever their values are, they are embodying them and they are expressing them. So as I speak this knowing that the invitation, the evolutionary impulse is elevating those values and the ability to live in integrity, to embody in integrity, to express in integrity those values that are the truth of our being. In life-affirming ways, we are our values. We speak, we breathe, we act from and as that which we value. So I don't simply express love. I am love. All that I am it. It is me. Therefore, I think thoughts of love. I communicate words of love. I feel love. And my acts of service are demonstrations of love. Life-affirming faith. My thoughts are God's thoughts. My words are God's words. My emotions, God's emotions, and my actions, the way that God shows up, acting in the world. As I said last week, between God and I, there is no between. There is only that which it is. And the law says yes. The law says yes, and it acts accordingly as only it can. Which means this entire message, this prayer right now, is already active. It's already demonstrating. It's already manifesting. It is already my experience. It is already answered prayer. In the same way that I am my values, my life is my prayer. My life is my amen. And what is true for me is true for each of us, for all of us. So when I say a world that works for all, I value it. I think, speak, feel, and act in integrity, authentic power, a world that works for all, with courage, brave. It is already done. It is already so. And so it is. Namaste, blessings, much love and appreciation, everyone. Once again, happy Mother's Day for those who celebrate Mother's Day, for those whose mothers are still on this side of life after life, for those who are mothers yourself, for those who embody the maternal energy, for all of that which is happy Mother's Day. Love and appreciation. We are not meeting today for after service because right now where am I right now? I'm bilocating, but where am I right now? Leesburg for their after service fellowship thing. So feel free to jump on over there if you would like to. I'm sure we're probably still chatting. So much love and appreciation, and I will see you soon.